Man, man, what's going on up in here? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if we got anybody yet. See if we're even on the box. Hold on. Checking. Yeah. Yeah, but nobody's here. Nobody's here. Is everybody mad today? Everybody being quiet and all quiet and mad? I mean, what's the deal? I don't get it. Ugh, I guess we should play some music or something like we used to do, but I can't. I keep getting kicked off, especially Facebook. You know, every time I play music on there, I get kicked off. It says something about your broadcast has been silenced in other countries, and I didn't know anybody could actually understand my ass in like Japan and shit. It would be unique. It'd be very different. I would enjoy that. You know, having some Japanese people on here to talk to, I think would be a lot of fun. Thomas Sullivan, what's up, brother? Mike Forney, what up? Mara, my friend. Michael, good evening. We're going to talk about some stuff tonight. I love to talk about rates because right now, everybody has been worried about rates, and rightly so, because it's not just brokers pushing them down. I had a conversation with a couple of drivers this week, and these people have their own accounts. Thomas say rates suck. Deb Dingo, my friend. Debbie, I want to talk to you. Thomas resting, just chilling. That's good, man. We'll hang out. Deb, I want to talk to you. I want to give a couple of shout outs before we get started too hard. And I'm going to use Jess's name without her permission. So if you're on here, Jess, then I'm using your name without permission. Jess broke down Sunday out on Interstate 65. There she is. And she called her shop down in Atlanta. She was up here. She was up in Kentucky. And she called a shop in Atlanta, and they loaded up a truck on the wrecker, and they were going to come up here and swap trucks with her and do all that stuff and get her going. What she did was she dropped the drive shaft, and when she did, she broke the pinion on her rear end. Not her rear end specifically, the truck's rear end. Just to be clear, Jess, I'm going to be clear about all this. And she busted an airline. And so that pretty much stops everything. I mean, it was the rear drive shaft, the short one. You could just kick the power divider in, and keep going. But with a busted airline, and she dumped all her air in less than a minute. So she wasn't getting any air. Anyway, she had these guys coming up, and she called me. And I said, don't do all that. I said, Ricky's, you're 10 miles from Ricky. And she said, well, it's Sunday. I hate to do that. And I said, no. Your family, you call them up. So Ricky sent his crew out there. And they got her off the side of the road and got her back over to the shop. And Ricky had all the parts that they needed there at the shop. So they started, they dug into it and started taking it all apart and everything. That's when they found a busted pinion. And got her fixed. And got her going. And Ricky at some point, now Jess told me this today, which is a shock of the world. He said that, Ricky said, look, even if we don't get you fixed, you can take one of my trucks and go on and deliver your load, which is down in Memphis, I think. And said, whenever you get unloaded and get reloaded or whatever, just come back and I'll have your truck ready. Friends, who in the world would let somebody do that? I mean, think about that. Take one of my trucks, do your business. That's Tony. What up, mate? Would let you take one of their trucks, work on your truck. He called his whole crew in, had 4 guys in there on a Sunday, fixing her truck, got her going. And I think she told me they got her out of there by about 11 o'clock Sunday night. Which, as opposed to waiting, 2 or 3 days at a dealership, or having your crew come all the way out of Atlanta with a truck on a hook, which it's good she could do that, if you need to do that. But getting fixed and getting out of there on a Sunday is pretty amazing. So shout out goes to Ricky Davis and all the guys up there at Davis Trucking for getting our friend going and back on the street riding around and terrorizing the General Motor in public, just as she still made an on-time delivery. Dan Brandt, what's up, brother? We need more of that. And Thomas say we need more of that in the industry. Thomas, you hit the nail on the head. You see all these guys on social media crying and complaining, and it's not what it used to be. Jess said, I'm not saying I'm Ricky's favorite person, but I'm near the top. I'd say you're in the top 3, maybe 4, not counting his grandkids, because he's funny about that. But yeah, I'd say so. But Thomas, to your point, Pam made me dinner too. Well, try to get that at a Freightliner dealership. Try to get the Freightliner dealership to make you dinner. It'll take you in the house and all that. Anyway, there's still some people like that out there. And that's what, when I see these guys complaining and crying and carrying on and whining and all this stuff, I'm thinking, man, you guys just don't know, do you? You just don't know. There are people out there like that. And there's not a lot. There's not as many as they used to be. I guarantee you that. And you got to be careful out there on the road, because somebody will get you. But, when you can call somebody on the phone on a Sunday and they pull you in off the road and bring you in the shop and get you all fixed up and ready to go. And I tell you, Jess, it's on here, so I say, I would love to make videos at the shop. Thomas say, that's why at my show I try to push camaraderie amongst drivers. Yeah. I would love to make, we don't have a cell signal up there at the shop. And the shop is big. You can put 6 trucks in there. It's a big shop. And you can't we rebuild motors and transmissions and rear ends. We build trucks. We paint them. We do all that stuff in there, and I'd love to make videos and put them out there for you guys to see, but you can't go live. There's just no going live in there to it. There's nothing to it. You're not gonna, because you don't have a signal. You have to walk out in the backyard and stand in a certain spot and not move. You can't even breathe real hard, to get the signal going up there. But those are real people, Ricky Davis and his crew, and the people that are our friends. Mara has been to the shop, and she just came in there one day, just pulled up and drove up in the driveway and got out of the truck and came in there. And we have a bunch of truck seats in the front of the shop up there near the work desk and all that. And they're just seats out of trucks. If something gets pulled out of a truck, it winds up over there. And that's where we all sit around and solve all the problems of the world. Make the videos and put them in YouTube later, edited and clean. Yeah, I'm not doing all that. I understand that you can, but I'm just not into video. Getting on here live is about all I can do. That's about it. That's all I'm good for. But Mara came up there one day and just sat around, spent the whole day. She was just there all day. And people walk in there, the first time Jason and Jennifer Husky came up there, Jennifer walked in and looked around the shop and she said, God, I love this place. So, people when they get in there, Mara say, great people there. Yeah, they are. When you get in there, you just, if you're a for-real trucking person, you just feel at home. You just feel like you belong in there, and that's that. So, anyway, I wanted to shout out to my friend Ricky and, talk about that for a minute. So let's say I did a big boo-boo today. Well, what did you do? Anyway, if you guys have never been to the shop or been by the shop, it's in Etoile, Kentucky. It's 14 miles south of Glasgow, Kentucky, kind of between Glasgow and Bowling Green, but out a little bit. It's out in the woods, kind of a little bit, and it's tough to get to. But once you're there, you know you're home. It doesn't take but a minute to figure out that you're home. I wanted to talk. Just shout out to Ricky. I want to shout out to. I got Shane's hat on today, Green Miles, because he was kind enough to send me some hats and shirts, and he was on here last week talking about keeping drivers, and I appreciate that. I appreciate him and our friendship. And oh, let's see who else gets a shout out this week for above and beyond. I'm trying to think of everybody. There's so many people. Um, uh, I put a post up earlier, and I'm just going to touch on this and then move on. I don't want to spend the whole day on it or anything. Uh, uh, when it comes to your legal documents, I did a whole show about this a few weeks ago. When it comes to all your legal documents, everybody that knows me, that's known me for any length of time at all, my middle name is Liability. And I'm big, 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 big on that. And Mara says, I forgot to open my spread. I'm 45 over on my trailer, dodging scales all the way to Las Cruces. Shit, I don't know where you are, but I don't think there's that many scales out there, is there? Anyway, that sucks either way, because now you're going to ride like shit. When it comes to your legal documents, don't let anybody monkey with that stuff. Thomas, I apologize for not getting back to you a while back on doing a segment about our show and our cause. Thomas, you're welcome on here anytime. I mean, you're welcome on here anytime. And talk about your show. We went last year, and it was special. It was a lot of fun. And I tell you what, you guys pulled in a big, big, big crowd. Only 2 left. It's a bouncy bitch. Yeah, I bet it is. But you're welcome on here anytime, brother. I mean, you're family here. You get on here and talk about your show anytime you want to. We went down there last year and had a ball. We had a blast down there. We had a good time. All the guys from had 76 trucks, hoping for 100 this year. I don't know where you're gonna put them. Are you gonna have it in the same place? You gonna have it out there at the airport? At the same place? That's a good place. I mean, that's a good place to have one. Some guy flew in one of those one of those toy airplanes, those little experimental airplanes. And we had a lot of fun sitting there watching him land that damn little thing. That was funny. Anyway, your legal documents. Here's the thing. Same place, just overflow the Board of Education. Yeah, you got plenty of room. A lot of paved space out there. It's good. Your legal documents. Let me stay on that for a minute. What the lawyers know that you don't know. And somebody told me earlier, well, these lawyers don't speak truck. They can't give you a document that's specific to trucking. You can help with that. You can make suggestions or add to or delete from any agreement that you want to, as long as lucky they didn't shoot it down. No shit. You can do those things, but let me tell you, what these lawyers know that you do not know. Yeah, I know everybody thinks they know everything there is to know about trucking and, all that stuff, and dealing with brokers and dealing with carriers and dealing with shippers. I know everybody thinks that they know everything there is to know. What you don't know that the lawyers do know is you don't know specific state, okay, even county regulations and rules. And when it comes right down to it, to a lawsuit, which it will, eventually it will. When it comes right down to it, that's what you need. And law, everything about law is language. It's all in how you put it. It's all in how it goes on the paper and how you present it in court. It's all about language. So you need to let these lawyers do this stuff. And then if you're a broker, or if you're a carrier and you've dispatched a truck and there's an accident, God forbid a fatality involved, everybody's going to get sued. And if you've ever been involved in that, you know what I'm talking about. And I have. I have been involved. And everybody's going to get sued. The broker's going to get sued because you dispatched them. You should have known better. The shipper's going to get sued because you loaded them. Everybody's going to get sued. And when you do, the difference between having to cough up, some money or part of money, on your part could very well come down to, the language in your agreement. And you need to have a pro do that. You don't need to have some guy that thinks he knows how to do it. I've been doing it. My old partner's a lawyer. I have 2 kids that are lawyers. So for me, it's easy enough for me to drag one of the kids in here and say, you need to read this, and they can correct it as needed. And I have no ego involved in that at all. I'm still the dad, but when it comes to the law, they know their stuff, and that's what we pay them for. So let them do it. Don't sit there and, and the response I got was, I'm trying to help people. You're not helping anybody. You're not. It's not helping people if you give them not enough information or not the right information. Dan says reading anything in legalese is designed and written by lawyers for lawyers. And Dan, good, Michael. Keep trying. Dan, to your point, it's also written and interpreted by a judge who is also a lawyer. So yeah, let these people do what they do. Don't think that because somebody might or might not be, because somebody might or might not know trucking inside and out, outside and in. Don't think that they can't help you, and don't think for a minute that you know more about the law than they do, because you don't. That's not going to happen. So let them do it. Cabbage, haven't been there in a while. Let them do it, and that's all I have to say about that. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not upset with anybody, but like I like to say on here every night, bad information is worse than no information. And when it comes to your legal documents, that's what gets you paid, and that's what keeps you out of court. Pretty simple. That really. You can have the coolest Peterbilt in the whole world with chrome all over it and a big bumper, chicken lights, and a big horn and all that stuff. Pull a big old stainless steel spread axle trailer and be the coolest guy in the truck stop. But if you monkey around and you monkey fuck around with your documents, good luck. Good luck to you. So that's enough. That's all I want to say about that. What I wanted to say, tonight about rates is I've heard from several people in the last couple of weeks that a lot of their shippers, these are the customers, okay, not the brokers, not some in-between person, something like that. A lot of their shippers are really, really, really pushing hard to push the rates back down because, for 2 years they were, the highest I've ever seen them. I don't know about you guys, but they're the highest I've ever seen them. And a lot of these guys, a lot of these shippers are pushing, and they're bringing in the big box brokers to back them up. Well, if you can't haul it for $1.25, I got TQL here. They said they'd do it. We all know that TQL can't service anything we don't haul because all these brokers cater to small and medium-sized trucking companies. That's who they are. That's what they do. The big guys. There's Rhonda. What's up? Man, it's good to see you. All these brokers depend on us, the little guys, the medium-sized companies, small. The big mega companies, the big companies don't haul broker freight. Most of them have their own brokerage. They broker freight out, but they don't haul it. They don't haul C.H. Robinson freight or TQL freight. So we're the ones that they depend on for their livelihood, for their living. And we are the ones that let them push the rates down. I say we, okay? I did. I said that. We. I took both business law and contract law courses in college several years ago and have benefited greatly from it ever since. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a business person, don't you think that's something you need to know? I know everybody wants to go out there and be an outlaw and a hot rod truck driver and all, and I do too, and I love it. I love it, but I'm telling you, you better let the people. My dad told me that once. I broke down, and I was out in Portland, Oregon, and I called my dad and I said, "Well, I can fix this thing, but I just don't have enough tools with me to do it right." And he said, "Son, put it in the shop and let the people that fix the trucks. And when they get done with it, then you drive it home, look it over, make sure everything's good, then get in that truck and drive it home." Well, it's the same thing, guys. Let the people that do the law. Okay? I used to do a lot of contracts, and back in the contracting days with the government, I used to read them and approve them and write them and proposals and all this stuff for other people and all that. Always had a lawyer do them. Always did. So, yeah, I don't know who's on here listening. Don't really give a fuck. Let the lawyers do the law and you do the trucks. It's real simple. It'll keep you out of trouble. So, enough of that. Rates. Rates are getting pushed down. I've had people call me the last couple of weeks that are worried. And these are people that have been around a long time. They're not kids. We all need to know all aspects of the business you're in as much as you can. As much as you can, Rhonda, because knowledge is power. What you know. That's why I hate to see these posts these people put up there. I told my kid, you don't need to go to school. You just quit and get you a job welding and you make $30 an hour. Well, there's some truth to that. But you can either go to school or you can work for somebody that did. Pick one. So, and that's how I feel about it. I don't like this new thing of, education is bad. I don't like this new thing of all this stuff is bad, and the people that do it are bad and all. I don't want to hear it. It's all bullshit, and I don't want to hear it. It's all politics and bullshit. And if you play into it, pity you. So anyway, rates. Rates are going down. The shippers are pushing them down. The big companies, the big shippers are pushing them down. The only thing we have to hold them up is us, and we don't do it. We don't do it. Every time we turn down a load, because they're not paying enough. It ain't right. Hogwash. What? What's hogwash? Hogwash. I like that. Anyway, the only people that keep the rates up are us. And we don't do it. We don't do it. Education is golden. That's right, darling. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. And nobody wanted out of school worse than I did. Trust me. Nobody. That's my wife. Everybody's trying to push the rates down. The only people that can hold them up is us, and we don't do it. Because if you turn down a load because they don't pay enough, some other guy will call up and he'll go, "Fuck it, I'll haul it." And then they put it on Facebook like they're some kind of hero. I can haul freight cheaper than you can, so there. You hurt everybody. You're my enemy. You're the people that are destroying this fucking industry. And people wonder why they can't get enough people together to do a shutdown or do some kind of thing where we have some kind of a protest or something like that. Because, I don't know what the deal, I don't know if it's 3 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. I don't know what it is, but you can't get people to stick together on any of it. So, I wanted to talk tonight about doing some of your bids and some things that might help you as a medium to small carrier or broker to be more competitive. You guys, you know me. I come on here every Tuesday night and talk, and I just speak for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody but me. Me. That's it. So anyway. Let's see, rates are going down while fuel stays up. It hurts big time, and not counting maintenance cost has went through the roof. Yeah, parts. Yeah, tires. Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to talk about this stuff tonight. Maybe throw some stuff out there that'll help you a little bit. When I bid, and we just got through back in November. I didn't do it. My son did it. Frank, you guys all know him. We just got through doing our contracts for this year, for 2023. We do them every November with our biggest customer, and then our smaller customers, about the same time, they start redoing the rates and contracts for next year. And that's what we're into now. And let me tell you what I do. Okay, and then, like I said, I'm speaking from just for me, not for anybody else. I never, ever, ever try to be the cheapest guy. I don't want to be the cheapest guy. We can't get along on the fuel line anyway. Ain't no way we'll stick together to shut down. Yep. I never want to be the cheapest guy. Let me tell you why. And the shippers will push you. Your customers will call you and go, well, I got 3 guys that come in cheaper than you did. Okay, use them. Call them up. See how that works out for you. You know, with our biggest customer, I've been with them for 24 years. They've tried that. You know, nice hat. Hey, brother. You think the hat's cool. You ought to see the back of my shirt. Anyway, I never want to be the cheapest guy. I don't want to be the cheapest guy. There's some reasons for that. Number one, I'm not selling rates, okay? And you hear people say that and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, Frank, you got to be competitive or you won't get any freight. And that is true. But what I want to talk about is being the first call carrier, being the cheapest guy on the list, because that's what they're all looking for, right? It might get you the call, but can you do the business? If you're a broker, okay, and you've bid a lane so cheap, who are you going to get to haul it? Okay, if you're a carrier and you bid a lane so cheap, how are you going to haul it and make any money at all? How are you going to pay your people? How are you going to make your truck payments? How are you going to make your trailer payments? You know, how are you going to buy tires and all that stuff? How are you going to pay your owner operators? How are they going to make it? So here's what I think, and here's what I know. Some of the big box carriers with some of the bigger customers will go in and bid, and what they're aiming for is pretty simple stuff. Stay with me here, okay? What they're aiming for is they like to get a lot of loads offered to them, okay? A lot on Thursday and Friday. A lot. Because all these trucks that they got, that they guarantee them X amount of money a week, and they put in social media and they put on all the ads and everything, you know, that our drivers make $100,000 a year. And oh, if you come drive for us, you'll make, you know, you'll make 3,000 miles a week. And then here it comes Thursday rolling around, and most of their trucks only got like 700, 800 miles. So what they want to do is load your ass up. These are the big carriers, okay? Big box carriers. They want to load you up on the weekend so that you'll run all weekend long and stay in that truck and not go home, because when you go home, they lose control of you. They don't want that. But they'll load you up. So they figure anything on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, okay, they can haul it for 70 cents and they're still better off. So that's what they're shooting for. And if you go in there and bid a contract, or if you get an RFP, which is a request for proposal or rate sheet from a customer, okay, if you get an RFP for them, the big box guys and some of the brokers know this, and that's what they're shooting for. You can't compete with that. You can't compete with those kind of rates on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can't do that. You can't do that. But if they're a big enough shipper, if they're shipping 8, 10 loads a day, let's say, which that's not a big shipper, but let's say they're shipping 8 or 10 loads a day, they're going to run out of the cheap guys about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and start calling you up. And 2 things are going to happen. You're going to get all the freight you need, okay? All the freight you need. And you're going to do it at a rate that makes you a profit. So don't ever let these guys push you into, if it's a broker, you know, if it's a shipper, don't ever let them push you into the idea that you're just not cheap enough. Just say, look, give me a shot at this business. Let me try to haul some of your loads. See how I do. Try me out. Then let me know. Okay, let me know. If you're third or fourth call carrier in a big shipper, you're going to get loads. They're going to come. Okay? You're not going to get rich overnight anyway. If you got into this business thinking you're in the wrong business. You should have got in the Bitcoin business. Then your ass would really be broke and you would not have to worry about it. But let's get away from this idea that in order to be competitive, you have to be cheap. It's not the way it works. It's just not the way it works. In my business, I have seen these customers bring in J.B. Hunt, Schneider, Prime over the last 5 or 6 years. They've brought the big guys in, and the big guys didn't last. They brought in Cardinal. Cardinal bought out whoever it was, a group out of Dallas. They bought them out, and Cardinal came in there, and they were going to tear up the world and take over the whole wide world and all that. And within 9 months, they were gone. They couldn't do it. They couldn't work cheap and pay their people. They couldn't do it. And they ended their contracts prematurely. They did it all across the board with those customers. When I look at my bills, most of my freight should have shipped a week plus before I got it. Every carrier that fails to pick up brings the rate up. You said that to me the other day, and that makes a lot of sense. If these big carriers leave these loads sitting on the docks, and they do, all day, every day, ain't that right, Jess? That's when the brokers get the call. And I'm telling you, that's when that rate went up. Get it? The big box carriers and the big box brokers went in there and bid it cheap because they'll put it out there and they're going to make their 20%. And they're not ashamed whether you can live or die or not. They don't care. They don't give a shit if you can make any money or not. They don't care. But the mid-size and smaller brokers like me, like most of the guys I know, my friends, we go in there and bid our rates. I had another customer here in town. And God, she tried everything she could do. I know she was getting a lot of pressure from her bosses, to push the rates down. She kept on. She called me one day. She said, well, we got TQL in here now. She said, if you want to stay in here, you have to lower your rates. I said, well, I'm not going to. And I said, here's another thing. While I got you on the phone, I said, if you start giving my freight to TQL and they don't pick it up, don't call me. Because if you do, my rate's going to go up 10% across the board. Well, we'll just see about that. And I said, well, we sure will. It didn't take 3 days. I need you to come in and pick up these 2 Chicagos. I said, no. I happen to have seen them on DAT. I was watching. They've been on DAT, and your big box broker, the big cheap guy, didn't cover them. Now you want me to. My rate just went to $4.10 a mile. Take it or leave it. You want me to pick it up? Fine. Well, I can't believe you do this to our relationship. I didn't do it, bitch. I didn't do anything to our relationship. I've been doing the same shit for 20 years. I didn't do anything. You did. Remember that, guys. When you quote people these prices, when you quote them rates, quote them your rate. Ask for the business. That's just part of the deal. That's the business we're in. Tell people, I want to do business with you. I want to haul your freight. Here's my rate. I'll pick your load up and I'll get it delivered on time on both ends, and I won't tear your shit up. Give me a shot. In the brokerage business, you guys that are brokers, in the brokerage business, you don't have to churn a whole lot of milk to get quite a bit of cream. I mean, if you're a small, 1 person or 2 or 3 person show in your office, you don't have to move 50 loads a day to make a living. You don't have to do it. Remember that. And then when you do get to 50 loads, remember what I said that day and call me up and say, Frank, I just hired another person. We grew up. I had to have another person. Good. I may not be cheap, but my professional work ethic and service are very well worth it. Know your worth. Know your worth. But that's really not what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking, and I love to talk about that, and you know that, okay? What I'm talking about right now is bidding so that you get business. Bidding so that they give you some business so that you can make a living. If they don't give you loads, you can't eat. Can't put food on the table. Don't try to be the cheap guy. Everybody wants to be the cheap guy. Everybody wants to be the first call. I got to tell you something. I've been on both ends of it. I've been on both sides of that desk over my career. And the big guys that bid it real cheap, they're not picking it up. They don't have a truck there, or they'll call you and say, I don't have anybody there today. I can pick it up Tuesday or Thursday. Would that be okay? Most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, the shipper will go, no, that's not okay. I've got a customer I've got to keep happy. That's when us little guys come into handy. That's when us little guys come into play. That's where we've always been, in that gray area, We've always made our living there. So don't try to be cheap. Just don't do it. Be the third or fourth, and in some cases, fourth or fifth call carrier will get you more freight than you can handle. Especially after you go through the bidding process at the end of the year, or first part of the year. Some companies do it every 90 days. Some companies do it continuously, just trying to beat rates down, beat rates down. Stay with your rate. I had a customer a couple years ago, and they were a pretty good customer, a pretty good sized customer, and they decided one year that you had to get this special computer program to bid their rates. You couldn't do it, on your program. You couldn't do it with an Excel spreadsheet. You couldn't go into their program and just fill in the blanks. You had to download this program. You had to learn how to do it, and then go in there and do all. So, it was just an arduous, long, pain in the ass process. So we did it. They've been a customer for a long time. We did there. If the only value you can offer customers being the cheapest, what will you do when your competition lowers their price? It's there. We're there. They're lowering their price, and that's what we're talking about. We're there. Anyway, these guys made us do this program, and I had to have two guys in my office, two of the girls in my office train on it, and just to do the bidding for next year. And then when we started bidding on it, they said, okay, we put our rates and everything. They said, okay, that's round one. Now we're going to do round two. So they opened it up in the program so that all of the carriers could see everybody's rates. All your competition, everybody. You could see everybody's rates. And the idea on the shipper's part was you would see all these rates and you would lower yours so that you'd be the number one guy. That was what they wanted you to do. So when they did that, and guys, I know I'm hard-headed and old school. I get it. I understand that. Somebody told me today, you're really hard in your opinions. Yeah, that's true. And too bad for fucking you if that's not okay. I've been doing this a long time. I'm not shy about it. Anyway, when they came back for round two, we didn't put anything in there. And nobody said anything for a few days. It just kind of came and went. Nobody said anything. And 3 or 4 days went by, 5 days, had the deadline and all that, and we didn't make the deadline. And then they had round three. They wanted to give everybody a chance to get cheaper still. Cheaper, dig in there. Finally, when we didn't put any rates in there for round three, the rep that we dealt with most of the time at the customer, he was a great guy. He's a good guy. He called me up and he said, dude, is something wrong with your program? I said, not that I know of. Why? What's the deal? He goes, I don't have any rates for you round 2 or 3. I don't have any rates for you. And I said, no, Steve, you've got my rates. Oh no, Frank, I can't find them. I said, whoa. I said, we gave you our rates on round 1. You asked for rates, we gave them to you. There they are. Oh yeah. But he says, he said, we got that round 2 and 3. He said, you might want to make some adjustments. I said, I don't want to adjust anything. You have my rates. Well, Frank, we've had a good relationship. And I said, yeah, and if that ends our relationship because I don't want to, compete with J.B. Hunt in New Jersey on a Friday, so be it. I'm not going to. I can't. I'll be out of business quicker than they will. They're bigger than I am and they got deeper pockets. So I can't compete. You have my rates. So that went on for a couple years. And we did get some lanes and we did do some business. And we were third or fourth call carrier on most all the lanes, which was fine with me. It was fine with me. And it was plenty of freight. It was lots of freight. We were doing 10, 12 loads a day with those guys. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. So, my point is that don't do it. Don't do it. And you can't go in there and, you see these guys on social media. You don't even start my truck for less than $4 a mile. Well, that dickhead's probably only running about 100 miles. You're not. And he's a liar. And he ain't getting no freight for $4 a mile. So we know the shit, right? Because we're real. In this shit, we're real, okay? And yes, you have to be competitive to get business, but you don't have to be the cheap guy. And guys out there with your 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, you too. You do not have to be the cheap guy. Okay? And I just don't, that way of thinking, that you're always the bottom at the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the barrel. Guys, it's a race to the bottom down there. And the big, 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 big guys that got all these over the road trucks, you're not going to compete with Swift on a Friday. They've got special rates on Friday. You probably didn't know that, did you? They do. They do. To the customers that'll let them, their rates on Tuesdays and their rates on Fridays are two different things. Yeah, probably didn't know that, did you? But they are. They are. And when you look at a shipper, if you look at a great, great, great big shipper, it's millions and millions of dollars. So they're going to do it. They're going to do it. So I could spend probably, I don't know what, I could probably spend 2 weeks on here talking about, and this would be another one to get Shane back in here with me on. I could spend 2 weeks in here talking about what's a good day to be here and what's a bad day to be here, and what's a good time to post your truck and what's a bad time to post your truck, and what's a good time to post a load and what's a bad time to post a load, because that all matters. Everything matters. Everything out there is moving around and moving around and moving around, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now. So there are good times to be in a certain area and there are bad times to be in a certain area. There are certain areas that are better than others pretty much all the time. So Shaggy gets on his map thing and he drew it all out for everybody. He mailed out a couple hundred of them to people, and that stuff's just real. There's a good day to take that $5 load to New Jersey, and there's not good days to do it, and there's a good time of day to start looking for freight. If you're going on the spot market, there's a good time of day to look for it and a not so good time of day. And it would take me, a couple hours of sitting here going through every little spot and every little thing, and saying, okay, this is when you need to go there or don't go. Or don't go. Realizing that when I do that, realizing when I say this, just like people hauling cheap freight, that if I'm talking to 10 people, 3 or 4 of them are going to go, yeah, fuck that. I'm going over there Friday anyway. And then they go over there and get mad. I love to see this stuff on social media. Guy, 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon going, yeah, I took this load down here to Miami. There ain't shit coming out of here. Each one will pay you 70 cents a mile. You reckon? Gee, you think? You didn't know that going in down there? You didn't know that when you got empty at noon or 1 o'clock on Friday, you were pretty much fucked? You didn't know that? You didn't figure that in on your rate, did you, Hoss? Because now you're sitting over here on Facebook crying about it. And everybody that reads it, 90% of them are sitting there going, the hell you doing in Miami on a Friday, you dumbass? What'd you think was going to happen? That's what's going to happen. So guys, don't be the first guy. Don't be the first call. If you're the first call carrier, you have left money on the table, a lot of money on the table. If you're the first call carrier, if you're the cheapest guy, it's not going to work for you. It doesn't work for the people that do it. They turn it down. That's why it goes down to the second, third, fourth, fifth call carrier, because none of those other people will give them a truck. They plan, when they put those rates in there, they plan on not giving them a truck on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. They plan on that. They know they're not going to do it. The shippers don't know because most of them are stupid. Like if you're in the ping pong ball business and you make really good, cool little round, lightweight, swift ping pong balls that go pop when you hit them, you're interested in making ping pong balls. You're not in the trucking business. You're in the ping pong ball business. You don't care about the trucking business. You got some old gal or some guy that used to work the forklift but his back hurt, and they're sitting in there trying to hand the loads out to all the carriers, and that's who's running the show. That's the same guy. That's the guy that'll call you up and go, yeah, last time I called you, you was late. It was that guy. That's the guy running the show. Never mind that you deadheaded 250 miles to get him the truck. Never mind that you're doing it cheaper than you really want to just to keep them happy. Never mind. Last time I called you, you was 15 minutes late. They don't care. Those people don't care. Most of them are stupid. And they don't care. Don't be the first guy on any list. Brokers, listen to me. You won't be able to sell it. If rates start to tick back up and you've locked yourself into a couple of customers as the cheap guy, who's going to move your freight? Because believe me, if you think there's a lot of love and loyalty and trust in this business, you are incorrect. You are incorrect. It's not. It's not. There's very few Ricky Davises left out there, guys. There ain't a whole lot of them left out there. Me, Ricky, a lot of the guys I know. You know, we go on trust, we go on honor system, we go on, I don't know. You try to be loyal, try to be a friend, try to be decent people, and that's what we go on. That's all we really know how to do. So there's very, very, very little of that around. So when you bid, don't be. And if you can ask somebody, ask them, say, what would it take for me to be your third or fourth call guy? And if they're smart, they'll know what you're doing. Because I do it all the time. I'll do it all the time. I do it all the time. Yeah, don't call me on Tuesday wanting 50 trucks. Call me on Friday wanting 50 trucks, and I'll be your low guy. You can't make a living doing that, and you're not in the business to do that. And it hurts the business, hurts the industry. You know, everybody else is trying to make a living. It hurts the industry for people to do that all the time. And some people don't care. You know, some people say, well, you know, I'd like to help the industry, but I'll take care of myself first. Well, there's some truth to that. You know, you can't share coffee out of an empty cup. Okay? If you're broke and out of business, you really can't help anybody, can you? But if you raise your rates a little bit, stay with your rates, okay? You'll be fine. You'll get work. And if you do a good job and you provide good service because you're paying better rates than the other guys are, so you can get better carriers and carriers that want to do business with you and carriers that want to call you on the phone and shippers that want to call you on the phone. Because I'm going to tell you something. Every shipper that calls a truck, that orders a truck, every person that does that has a boss. And they know when they go home at night, if they don't have those loads covered that they handed out, they're going to be seeing that boss tomorrow morning about 8 o'clock. Why in the hell have you got 3 loads sitting out there on the dock and our customers are sitting there waiting on them? Well, boss, you told me to get the cheapest guy, and that's what I was doing. Don't. I mean, you guys have heard these stories. This isn't new. I'm not giving a class in how to do rates. I'm giving a memory class here tonight because you guys have all been around and you all know this stuff. You do. You do. You all know this. Everybody knows this. You know, somebody's sitting there going, well, damn it, Frank, I'd like to do that. But you know what? You got to be competitive or you don't get the business. And I agree. And I've said that. You do. You have to be competitive. But you don't have to be the highest guy, but you damn sure don't have to be the cheapest. You don't. You do not. You will get business. You know, if you set your goals, you got your plan, and you set your goals at 20 loads a day, and you only get 13 because your rate's a little bit higher, wait until the end of the month and then do your P&L. Find out if you made any money or not. Because if your rates are a little bit higher, you'll make more money on 13 loads than you do 20 loads. Think about it. If you're a 1 truck guy or a 2 truck guy or a 3 truck guy, and you're hauling freight for $3 a mile pretty consistently, you're going to make a lot more money at the end of the month than you would if you were hauling for $2.60 a mile. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? You can run fewer miles, less fuel, less maintenance, less everything. You run fewer miles and make the same exact amount of money. You know, we talked about this, and I wanted to talk about this again tonight because I think it's home. You know, a lot of you guys with 1 or 2 or 3 trucks, or Shane, if you're still on here, you need to get acquainted with the fact that you have fixed and variable costs, okay? The fixed costs are the costs that you have to pay every month, whether the truck turns 1 mile or no miles. You got to pay them every month, okay? That's your insurance, that's your truck payment. You know, those are things you have to pay every single month. And when you figure out the rate per mile that you need to make money with your truck, you have to figure all that in. Shane's saying, I'm here. Good. You have to figure all that because I know you're familiar with this concept. Anyway, you have to fill all that in when you're saying it cost me $1.38 to run my truck. You have to figure all that in. But if you pay your fixed cost, and this is how the big guys do it, this is how they see it. This is what they see when they look at rate per mile. If you can fill in your rate per mile, if you can fill in your fixed cost in the first, let's say, week and a half, 10 days, if you can pay those bills, your truck payment, your insurance payment, and whatever else, your building rent, equipment for the office, whatever your cost is, okay? If you can pay that in your first 10 days of the month, which you should, okay? Then the next 20 days of the month, you're operating at variable cost only. Think about that. Think about it. For the rest of the month, you've got your bills paid now, okay? Your nut is made, your house is paid for, everything back home is paid for, the kids are going to eat, you're going to have a car to drive, you're going to have food on the table, all that stuff. You got all that. For the rest of the month, you're operating at variable cost, which is fuel, driver pay, and maintenance. I put maintenance in variable because I think it is. And most people agree with me. So whatever that amount is, if you can work 20 days at the end of the month, okay, on driver pay, fuel, and maintenance, because that's basically what you're going to work on. I don't know what that is right now. I think fuel's probably going to, unless you got a big fat hot rod truck like some of my buddies, I don't know what your fuel cost is. I don't know what your driver pay is. But let's say it's somewhere around $1.10 or $1.30, somewhere in there, somewhere in that range, because hopefully that's where it is. If it's higher than that, you're in deep shit. And you need to just, at the end of the show, send me all your money, and me and Frank 3 will blow it on a new fishing boat. And in that way, you'll be out of pain. Your pain will be over. You'll be broke. You'll be out of business, but the pain will have stopped. You'll feel good. You'll wake up in the morning and go, I ain't got shit. So ain't no point worrying about it. Me and Frank will have a new boat. It's good for everybody. Fuel last week was 52 cents a mile. Okay. That's honestly about 8 cents cheaper than I thought it would be. Oh, good. That's good. That's a good number. That's a great number. Pay your bills. Think this way, guys. Think this way. Brokers, think this way. You got your office, unless you're operating from home, and then you got home. You got to pay for that. Somebody's got to pay for it. You got your computer. My fuel's 71. Okay. Somebody's got to pay for your electricity, your computer. You got to eat. You got to do this. You got your fixed costs, whether you're a one-guy broker living at home or whether you're somebody working in an office. Everybody in this business has some fixed cost every month. I don't care who you are. Everybody has fixed costs. Everybody. And then everybody has variable costs. Your time is worth money. If you're a one-person show and you're operating from home, your time is worth money. If it's not, you're in the wrong business. So, if you can pay your bills, your fixed cost, in the first 10 days of the month, all your bills are paid for, then for the whole rest of the month, you're operating just on variable costs. And guys, the reason I'm pointing that out and the reason I'm making such a big deal about that is because after you get your bills paid, it frees you up to make a lot of different decisions. It just opens up the door. It's like a football team. If you go in the locker room at halftime and you got a 30-point lead, you can do pretty much any fucking thing you want to in the second half, can't you? Same thing. Same thing in this business. If you pay your bills in the first week or 10 days of the month, get them paid, get them out of the way. For the rest of the month, it makes your decision-making process a whole lot better. That comes into play, guys, when you're doing rates for customers or rates for brokers. That comes into play. It gives you some flexibility. Maybe you'll take that load to a place you don't particularly want to go, and you don't have a relationship there to get out. Maybe you'll take that to make a customer happy. Okay? That happens every day. Customer calls and goes, hey, I got this load going to Boston. You go, shit, I don't go there. What do you think that customer thinks when you say that out loud? What would you think? What would you think? If you were the customer and somebody told you, yeah, I don't do that. You've been calling them every day for 2 years begging them for work. You've been calling them every day for 2 years wanting more money. You've been calling them every day for 2 years wanting to do this and wanting to do this, and they throw a shitty load at you, and your first response is, yeah, I don't do that shit. What do you think they think? All the goodwill you've built up for years is gone. It just evaporates like the dew. It's just gone. Again, you can send me all your money. Frank and I'll buy a new fishing boat. We got our eye on a couple, just in case you were wondering. We'll buy a new fishing boat. You'll be broke. You'll be out of business. But damn it, we'll all be happy. I know I will. I will feel better about it. I've even got the correct hat for it. Please hold. That's right. That's my fishing hat. That's correct. I am prepared to accept your donations. Anyway, let's talk about rates. If you manage your business and you get your bills paid, then you can make decisions in the latter part of the month that makes it a lot easier to make decisions. You can help your customers out. You can do stuff for them that you might ordinarily not do. Okay? You can go after a new customer that maybe you've been hesitant to go after because you know there's a few things about them that you're not wild about, like some of their lanes or the way they load trucks or whatever. Their dock is hard to get into. It's tight. And you want to do business with these people because they're 6 miles away. They're right down the street. You go to church with one of the women that works there. I mean, you've been wanting to do business with these people, but damn it, you just can't. Now maybe you can. Maybe you can. But I'll bet you this, and I will bet you this. A McDonald's of your choice. If you try this stuff I'm talking about, if you try it, you will have plenty of business. I guarantee you will. I guarantee you will. If you build relationships with some of these brokers and customers like Shane has done over the years. Shane gets these loads from brokers. He said last week he does about 90%. He does them from brokers. Amazing. He's got 30 trucks. How do you do that? How do you do that? He said, well, I don't know. I've been working with the same ones for years. They know me. I know them. And they send me their loads before they go on the load boards. Why do you suppose they do that? You think Shane's their cheapest carrier? No, hell no, he's not. Especially not now. No. Don't be number one, guys. I don't care if you're bidding lanes for Walmart or you're bidding loads for, a broker down the street. I don't care who it is. Don't sit there and think that you've got to pull freight for $1.25 a mile to be in the business. Don't think it. Don't think it. If you think that, it will happen. You can make it happen. You can make your dreams come true. You can be the cheapest guy in the fucking world. I'm their most reliable. That's right. If you strive to be the cheapest motherfucker in town, you will succeed. You'll be broke soon. You'll be out of business, but you will succeed. Don't be the low guy. Don't be the low guy. Sell yourself, sell your business, sell your capabilities, know your worth. Go in there and fight that fight and say, look, I'm here for you. Please call me if you need me. I want to do business with you. And when they call, guys, execute. Do it. And do it right. That's all I got for you tonight. I just wanted to talk about rates. We talked about, a couple of us talked the other night about getting together and just doing rates for everybody. Just putting them out there and say, all right, if you're a small to medium-sized carrier, from now on, Frank and Bill are going to do your rates for you. And if you need a rate, just call them on the phone. They'll give them to you. They'll put them up on their website, and you can go on there and get whatever rate you want. Nashville to Baltimore, $4.10 a mile plus fuel surcharge. Whatever. Do it. The problem with that is just like people dealing with brokers, folks. I'd love to do that. I'd love to help that way, and I think I could. The problem is, and a lot of my brothers and sisters will tell you that, Michelle loves my fishing hat. When you want to go? I'm going. Redfish season is upon us, darling. It is here. I will be on the boat. I'll probably not skip the. I'll probably skip the Frank talk that week and make up some bullshit like, I'm sorry, we have to postpone this week because Frank doesn't feel well. Anyway, don't be the cheap guy. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. You will get the calls. You will get the work. If you're negotiating with a broker over the telephone, build. I don't care about being the cheapest. I care about being the busiest and the best. And you will be. If you build your business that way, that's who you will be. If you build your business being the cheap guy, that's who you will be. I know it sounds stupid. Frank, okay, it might sound stupid to you, but I've been in business for a long time. I'm just trying to pass it on. I don't charge people for doing this. It just feels weird to me to think like that. I used to do consulting for people, but it was on a much larger scale, and I had to have a haircut and wear a suit, and I damn sure ain't doing that anymore. So, we've been here an hour. That's too long. But I wanted to talk to you about the legal stuff. I feel strongly about that. If somebody doesn't or gets mad at me for it, I'm sorry. Get over it. Legal shit will get you in trouble. Legal shit will cause you to lose your house. Legal shit will cause you to go out of business. Legal shit will cause you to be broke. When it's so simple to fix it on the front end and not worry about it, it's crazy to me that anybody would even think that way. It's crazy to me to think, you guys that are dispatchers, it's crazy to me. My phone's dying. Good night, all. Me too. It's crazy to me to think about that people would sign power of attorney over to somebody you don't know to run your trucks, which you should be doing anyway. And that said, if you're a dispatch service and you're a good one, I get it. That's just the same to me as hiring somebody and bringing them in your office and sitting them in a corner and saying, look, from now on, you're going to load this many trucks a day, 10 trucks a day, and I'm going to pay you, 10% of what they make. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you do it to somebody that's, 300 miles away, or you do it to somebody that's sitting in your office. It's the same to me. I don't care. It doesn't matter. My thinking is, though, if you own your company and you run your company, it's something you want to have your hand on. It's something you want to be in touch with all day, every day. That's just me. I love these Frank Talks. I listen to each one several times a week. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. Will this be on YouTube channel? Yeah, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Frank G Trucks is the name of my YouTube channel. It's really simple. Frank, same as me. Frank G Trucks. Facebook's been up my ass for a couple weeks, and a lot of stuff gets deleted and shifted and moved around. And what I found out is that if after a few hours, if I delete this video off of my Facebook page, then everything goes away. It's still available. Let me put this in here real quick before you guys go away. Hold on. This will only take a second. I could type, I'd be the President of the United States. Anyway, my name, my channel on Facebook is the same as my name, Frank G Trucks. Real simple. Go on there, subscribe, do all that shit you do on Facebook or on YouTube. Subscribe. And I leave the videos there because for some reason they don't mess with me. They're fine with it, which makes me very happy. But here they do. I don't want some random dispatcher developing the relationships that my company should have. And that's exactly right. I'm subscribed with notifications. Good. I'm not going to get into the dispatch service thing. I think that very soon, in fact, I know for a fact, very soon, they will be regulated just like a broker. It's coming. It might take a year, maybe two, but I doubt it. They're going to be regulated just like a broker. And they're going to have the same liability and they're going to have the same accountability as probably as a broker. So, guys, if you're in the dispatch business, okay, next week YouTube. Either one, honey. I do them both simultaneously. That's kind of how I feel about it. It makes me nervous. I've been sued. I had a guy get up on one of my milk tankers a couple of years ago, and it was icy, and he fell down, and he hurt his wrists when he fell on the ground. It was high up. Anyway, hurt his wrist, and he got a lawyer, and the lawyer sued the tanker manufacturer. YouTube is anal about copyright, but they have a list of what you can and cannot use. I just got to get familiar with it. Yeah, but you're right. Anyway, this guy sued the tanker manufacturer because it was slick. He sued the plant that he was delivering to. He sued the shipper that gave him the load of milk that he was hauling. He sued me because I dispatched him. He sued everybody. He did. His lawyer sued everybody. And when I got the notice of the lawsuit, I had my lawyer called this guy's lawyer and just settled with him because it was coming one way or the other. Bullshit, just say you're going fishing. Honey, I can go fishing. I can fish. Anyway, that's why I'm so big on this legal stuff, guys. I mean, it's it's the world we live in. I don't really care so much about. It's just something you have to deal with, and it's easy to deal with. It's not, if you take care of it up front, you can sleep at night. You never have to worry about it. Do it right up front. Don't let some hooligan do it. It won't work out for you. I guarantee you it won't. Do your deal up right, and understand your business. As far as dispatch services go, I'm not ever going to sign a power of attorney with somebody I don't know. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? I did talk to Eddie the other day. I can't remember what day it was. Talked to him one day. That's about it, guys. Don't be the cheap guy. Don't do it. If you need to send me a message, ask me a question, I'm glad to help. I don't answer the phone all the time. I know I'm bad. I'm a bad person. I get it. But I will try to help you with that. And don't, just the lawyer took 40% off the top. At least. At least. If you need to buy a truck, call Uncle Frank. I got some trucks. I got 2 Cascadias and a Peterbilt. Turn you to an S-Corp soon. You better. All right, guys. Happy Tuesday night. Happy week. Happy Valentine's Day. Man, I forgot all about that. I got to go downstairs and see my girl. 44 times we've been Valentine's Day in a row. That's right. Oh, yeah. Because I got that going on. You know what I'm saying. I'm good, honey, but I'm leaving. You guys have a good night. Thank you for coming. I'll see you next week. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, send me a message or put it in the group. You're all welcome to anytime you want. If you want to come on and be a guest on here with me and sit and talk about a certain thing, I'd love to have you. I'd love to do that. Love to do it. So you guys have a great week. Have a great Valentine's Day. If you're out on the road, be safe. If it's slick, stop. There's not a load in the world worth your life. And take care of each other because we are all we got. We are all we got. Love you guys. Have a good night.